Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your horoscope and taroscope for the month of January 2021. So Sagittarius, this is a very intense month. Astrologically, there's a bit of an earthquake. There's a bit of an earthquake. There's a bit of a shuffle, a little bit of unsteady ground based on the Aquarian Taurian squares. The first thing I want to alert you to is the fact that Jupiter, your ruler, is in Aquarius now, and although it has settled into Aquarius quite nicely, it is now about to feel a little bit of intention, of course, because Uranus is the great awakener. Tension from Uranus. Uranus and Jupiter are going to square on the 17th of the month. The square will be felt a little bit before that, leading up, 14th to the 22nd is around the time. We'll feel this energy right after the new moon in Capricorn, which I'll get to in a second. But Jupiter, being your ruler, is in Aquarius, asking you to communicate, asking you to consider your communication, how much you listen. Sometimes Jupiter can be very much like, when Jupiter's in the third house, I sort of think of it as a really strong microphone, a really strong piece of equipment that picks up and amplifies sound. If the third house is the microphone, Jupiter would be the amphitheater. The thing about this is, for you, because of the tension, it's coming into tension with your work. And if you're in any position at the moment where you're working closely with people in your day job, or you have a lot of things that you want to say, have a good think about them and maybe don't say them on the 17th. There could be a lot of interesting communication coming around for you in work. There could be a lot of things being said, a lot of things being exaggerated, a lot of things being amplified. And with Mercury going retrograde in your communication zone at the end of the month, and us being in shadow for the 2 weeks prior, there's a little bit of a rethink going on how much you actually listen. And I'm not saying any of you are bad listeners, but sometimes when Mercury is in shadow and when Mercury is in retrograde, or when our third house is under pressure, we can hear something that is much more to do with what's going on internally, much more to do with where we're actually internally fighting for freedom. And for you, there is so much tension being thrown there from your work sector, from your habits, that it's important to just listen for a moment, sit with it. For example, what is your body trying to tell you lately? Where are you feeling some little aches and pains, or where are you feeling some discomfort? There is something that your body is trying to communicate to you. With Mars and Uranus in your 6th house, this is much to do with figuring out what your health goals, your well-being goals are like. And it's a wonderful time to invest in it. It's not a wonderful time to be terribly impulsive, because with Mars and Uranus, you can shock your body, or you can shock yourself with your health if you've not been taking care of it. But Mars being there, it's a great time to put your energy towards it. But what I am thinking for you, Sagittarius, is that your body is trying to tell you something. Your well-being is asking for something, especially if you're Sagittarius rising. It's yearning for something, and it's going to keep giving you signals until you get it. Even if you are in great shape, possibly it is an emotional or mental practice that your body is looking to establish. Those are all things to bear in mind around that time. And try not to be too triggered with what other people say, especially around the 17th, because people may be talking bigger in your life. Siblings especially. Don't fight with your siblings if you can help it. Or let the energy breathe a little bit. Hanged man, don't react. The cards agree. Don't react. Don't go all gung-ho into putting that out there, because you guys can be pretty blunt. And I know that with the Eight of Swords here, I know that it's sometimes very hard to sit on things. But unless you can be absolutely certain that you're going to communicate and get the answers that you need with calmness, I wouldn't say anything, because something seems tense. Now, the new moon in Capricorn is a wonderful time to get your finances in order. It's a wonderful time to figure out what you've learned over the last year in particular, due to the Capricorn stellium with money. And also what it is that you value now, what is most important, and go with that. Page of Swords, I am telling you, people will be saying very significant things. At least they will seem significant. They're going to want to shoot you an angry email. They're going to want to shoot you an angry look. They're going to want to say something rude. If you are the bigger person, you won't feel much of a loss. And if you're the bigger person and you take your attention away from that kind of drama, you won't miss out on what's actually being offered to you. And what appears to be being offered to you, Sagittarius, we just heard some dings. What appears to be offered to you could be quite amazing. Mars is now out of your 5th house. Chiron is there. Chiron connected with Venus at the beginning of the month in your sign. Although Venus is no longer in your sign, you have been made kind of aware in the romantic department of where there might have been a little bit of pain, a little bit of reminiscing, a little bit of nostalgia, and a little bit of a lack of closure, maybe with a water sign. If you're dealing with a water sign that you're in a relationship with or you're interested in, there is a danger that you're focusing on what could go wrong or what's wrong with them more than what's right with them. Or if you're dealing with someone who's incredibly prone to melancholy, you might be reassessing that in general. With Venus in your 2nd house, you are more focused on romance that is sustainable, committed, and kind of quiet. It's not showy, it's not loud, it's not out there. You're more focused on keeping your romantic affairs private, keeping them to yourself. For some of you, I think you're not really over a water sign. This could be somebody years ago. This could be somebody from the past that you've just never quite gotten closure with, or you could be missing a water sign due to distance. Whatever this is, if there is someone that you feel a need with Saturn in Aquarius to make right with, make amends with, that's probably a good idea. Is it a good idea around the 17th? It's maybe more of a better idea around the Leo full moon. If you're looking to make amends with somebody, or if you're looking to express remorse. That is potential. Or always there's the potential that that's flipped, that that's a water sign wants to show some remorse and apologies to you. In your emotional life, there's something that just feels like a lot, that is taking a lot of your focus, is taking a lot of your energy. And sometimes when there's so much in the 2nd house, we can really get very worried about the material. But with the clashing of the air and the earth energies to you really amplifying how you feel, exaggerating how you feel about your day-to-day situations, and the air sign really pushing you to get to grips with what you're hearing, what you don't want to hear, what you want to say, what you don't want to say, words left unsaid. There's a bit of a clash there. So maybe one is holding you back from the other. Maybe your job is holding you back from expressing yourself. Maybe your want to have a conversation about something is holding you back from your work. Whatever it is, Sagittarius, there is a way of working with it. Whenever Mars is in the equation, whenever Mars is in any kind of situation as it is with the Aquarian energy and the Taurian energy, because Mars is in the arena here, and Mars is very much that warrior, that go, go, go. And Saturn is just that, take a step back. And we're going to have Saturn and your ruler squaring off in February, which is a time when you are likely going to want to say less, potentially. You're torn by how much you want to say and how much you don't want to say at points in January and points in February. The difference here is, Sagittarius, with that beautiful, open, expansive mind that you can access. And of course, we have the shadow sign energy where sometimes you can get really very stubborn about how you feel and how you view things. But for the most part, you are the archer. You shoot the arrows, you see things from the higher perspective and you go for it. But with Saturn in Aquarius, it's tempering what it is that you want to say. One thing, as I have observed for people who have Saturn in the third, or Saturn, if you're a Sun in Sagittarius, Saturn is 3 signs away from you. One of the things that I've learned about that is that sometimes the fear of saying the wrong thing can back you up quite far. And then sometimes saying the wrong thing can lead to restrictions. The key to both is to make sure that you're coming from a place of true authenticity. And if you're doing that, if you're coming from a place that's truly authentic, if you're doing that, then if somebody leaves as a result or somebody shuts it down, that is a very clear, very truthful sign that that's not for you. If it actually results in something very healing, then that is entirely for you. But you have to make sure that you're coming from that place where you know what it is that you want to say. It's almost, with Saturn in the third, it's almost like you constantly have to prepare for the podium. You constantly have to prepare to make that speech. But I think you've been thinking about saying something for quite a while, or you've been thinking about articulating something or submitting something. Maybe you're a writer. Maybe you want to submit a CV. Maybe you want to contact somebody. Maybe you want to follow somebody on Instagram that you really have the hots for. Don't do it when you feel backed into a corner. Do it because you want to do it. You want to say it and you believe in it. That's really your message for January in a roundabout way. And when it comes to that water sign, there's obviously something has been spilled, be it in your past, be it in theirs. There's been some sadness. The action card, this is so perfect. The 2 horses, because you are, of course, Sagittarius, the archer, the center. With the action card, the white horse and the black horse is symbolic of having your spirit and your body in alignment. As I said before, say it because it's authentic. Don't say it because you're backed into a corner, because that's out of alignment. Don't say it because you feel pushed or provoked by somebody else, especially if it's somebody at work that's they're just angry about something and it's not even to do with you. Don't take it personally when people are testy. With the second chakra, yes, you might feel like it takes a lot of confidence to present yourself authentically at times, but you've got that. You have that. And yes, here's the hostilities card, saying that there will be people around you are just testing you in general. They're just saying things to get a reaction. Don't react because of them. React because you are Sagittarius and you know who you are and what you want. And with the 4th chakra here, the heart chakra as well as the sacral chakra, the combination of both being very romantic. When it comes to romance, it is a time to consider your part in things, but also to consider your human side. Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you didn't act on something. Maybe you wish you'd act on it. Or maybe you did something you wish you hadn't done. Especially if it was to do with someone that there was a lot of history with. 10 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Cups. If it was someone you were married to and estranged with, or you're mourning somebody, because that cannot, the 5 of Cups can be grief. If you are mourning somebody, it is a really strong time to speak to somebody. With the 6th house being all about well-being, the clash between your voice and your health is clear, Sagittarius. Don't hold back your feelings. Don't try and go it alone, whether you're missing somebody because of distance. Maybe you've lost somebody in the pandemic. Maybe you've lost a job. This is all very clear. Reach out to somebody you love. Reach out to somebody who can really help. Maybe it's a therapist. Maybe it's a Reiki healer. I had Reiki done the other day. And I find it to be the most magical thing in the world, really, like the most magical process. And I suppose, I hear about other people that have Reiki experiences and they don't really feel they feel peaceful, but I find it just like opening the windows to the world at times and feeling very much refreshed. For you, I think you need something. If you're feeling a feeling of sadness or missing somebody, or you're having moments of grief, it is important to reach out. Don't try and take this all on alone. That new moon in Capricorn is important as well, because that new moon will be a time to set intentions based on what you value and what matters to you and what you need to feel safe. The full moon on the 28th in Leo, Sagittarius, happening is very much to do with your ideology and your belief system and letting something go, letting a belief go. And the thing about that fixed full moon is that it's also in a bit of an energy of tension with the Taurian energy and the Taurian energy with Uranus and Mars in the equation, and it can be a bit eruptive. So if you feel like emotions are really coming up and you're thinking, I don't know where they're coming from a dominant thought. Whenever I see the 9th house in a full moon, I just think it's the dominant thought. It's the belief system. If there's a real purging of emotion, it's coming from a belief, and you have to challenge that belief. And if anybody can challenge a belief, that would be you. And you do it so well. So Sagittarius, if you're interested in the extended reading, we go into the water sign, we go into fire signs, earth signs, air signs, etc. Anybody you could be dealing with, we clarify all the cards, we get a little bit deeper into the astrology as well. It's linked below, and if not, I will see you in my new moon in Capricorn special. Take care, Sagittarius.